Today we're going to be talking about how to make our topic web for our autobiography paper that we're going to be writing. So the first thing that you want to do is write autobiography at the top of your paper. Once you have that written, we're going to focus in on what our main topic is going to be about. And for us, we're going to have a main topic that focuses in on our first or favorite family vacation that we would like to write about. So at the very middle of your paper, you're going to draw a box. And in this box, we're going to talk about the main idea. So you can write main idea. For the paper that I'm going to write about a trip that I've taken with my family to Florida. So I'm going to write Florida in the middle. Once you have your main idea written down, we need to think about supporting ideas that go with your trip. So you're just going to draw out one stick. This is going to be your first detail. Your first detail needs to be something that happened first within the story or the autobiography that you're writing. So for your trip, you want to think about what happened first. So for me, I want to talk about maybe getting to Florida. So I'm going to write plane ride. If you notice, I didn't make my box first this time because sometimes when we make our boxes first, we don't have enough space. So once you have what you want to have written, you can go ahead and box it off then. You want to make sure it's connected to the stick. The next thing that you're going to want to do is make your second stick going down, and this is going to be your second detail in your paper. So the second thing that happened in my trip is that we were able to arrive. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a box around that. And then after I have that, I need to think about my third detail that I want to talk about in my story. The third thing that I'm going to talk about is the fun thing that I thought was the best down in Florida, and I'm going to talk about Disney. And then again, you put your box around it once you are done. So now that you have 3 details, we need to think of supporting ideas that go with each detail. So we're going to focus back on detail number 1 to find our support. So we need to have 3 supporting ideas come off of each detail. So first you draw your stick, and then you want to think about the plane ride. So one of the first things is that I want to talk about is the airport. And maybe even about the security. Once I have that done, I can go ahead and box it off. Then I'm going to move on to my second supporting idea and draw a stick off of the box like that. For the second idea of the plane ride, I want to talk about being on the plane. So I'm going to write and I might even want to talk about the takeoff. Put a box around your idea once you have your thoughts in there. Again, these are thoughts, they are not complete sentences. The third supporting idea is going to come off of the bottom, and I want to think about one last thing that I'm going to talk about on the plane ride. So I'm going to talk about the landing. Once I have my idea down, I'm going to put a box around it. So now I have a box around the different ideas for detail number 1. We're going to move on to detail number 2 now, and that's about arriving. So when I'm thinking about arriving in Florida, I want to think about, well, where did I arrive? So I'm going to first talk about the weather and what it was like when I got to Florida, because it was definitely different than when I was in Michigan. And then I also want to talk about the drive to hotel and maybe what I saw. I'm boxing it off then. And then I need to think of one more thing that happened when I was arriving. And I'm going to talk about the hotel and how pretty it is. And then I'm going to put a box around it. Once I have the third detail for this whole detail, so this is my third supporting detail for my big detail done, I can move on to my third idea, which is going to Disney World. So I want to talk about the different things that maybe I saw at Disney. So the first thing that I need to do is draw a stick off. And one of the first things that I saw was the castle. And I'm also going to talk about the princesses there. Then I'll put a box around that idea. Then I need to think about the second supporting detail that I want to have for Disney. And I think I want to talk about the Toy Story ride. And then I'm going to put a box around it. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is going to be what happens at night. And so I'm going to write night. And they have a lights parade. And they also have fireworks. When I'm done, I'm going to go and make sure that I have a box put around that. So now looking at my whole entire web, I can see that I have a main idea, which is right here. It's right in the middle. And then I have 3 details. My details are going to be in blue. And then for each detail, I have 3 supporting ideas. Once I've completed this entire topic web, I'm going to be able to use it to create my paper. It's going to make my paper flow better, and I'm also able to make my paper a lot more quickly because I have my ideas already written down. So I want you guys to go ahead and get started on your topic web for your autobiography.